In the quiet town of Willow Creek, the arrival of the ice cream truck was a cherished ritual. Every afternoon, as the sun dipped low and shadows lengthened, children would gather at the corner of Maple Street, eagerly awaiting the sound of the familiar jingle that meant the arrival of Mr. Frost's ice cream truck. Mr. Frost was a kind figure with twinkling eyes and a perpetual smile. He wore a crisp white uniform and a jaunty cap with a picture of an ice cream cone, always ready with a cheerful greeting and a joke for the kids. His truck was a rainbow on wheels, painted with vibrant colors and adorned pictures of smiling ice cream cones and sundaes. But beneath this friendly facade lurked a dark and terrifying secret. Ethan was a curious 12-year-old boy with a knack for noticing things that others overlooked. Lately, he had begun to sense that something was off about Mr. Frost. The ice cream man never seemed to age. He looked the same year after year, and had an eerie knack for knowing exactly what each child wanted before they even spoke. One summer evening, as the last light of day faded and neighbors were turning in for the night, Ethan decided to follow Mr. Frost. He kept his distance, ducking behind trees and cars to remain out of sight. As the ice cream truck made its rounds, to his surprise, the truck veered off its usual route, heading towards the outskirts of town. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he trailed the truck to an old, abandoned warehouse that was rumored to be haunted by his friends and acquaintances. He watched from the shadows as Mr. Frost climbed out of the truck. His demeanor was starting to change. The cheerful smile was gone, replaced by a sinister, predatory grin. Ethan stifled a gasp as Mr. Frost began to change, his human form melting off his body to reveal something monstrous underneath. The creature that stood before Ethan was hideous, with grotesque skin and eyes that glowed a sickly yellow color. Its hands were no longer human, but long limbs that ended in razor-sharp claws. Ethan trembled, unable to tear his eyes away from the transformation. The monster moved to the back of the truck, opening the doors, not to reveal ice cream, but cages. Ethan could barely make out the shapes within, but as the creature was pulling out its contents, his blood ran cold as he realized they were human-sized cages filled with small children. Ethan recognized a few and realized they were the missing children from town who had vanished without a trace over the past few years. The monster began to feed the captives a sludge-like substance and partially molded bread. Ethan knew he had to do something, but his body was frozen with fear. Summoning every ounce of courage, he crept closer, his eyes searching for anything that could help. He spotted a heavy metal rod on the ground. He picked it up quietly and gripped it tightly in his hands, and taking slow, steady steps toward the creature, and wait for a moment to strike. As the monster turned its back, Ethan seized the moment. He rushed forward, swinging the rod with all his might. The blow landed with a sickening crunch, and the creature howled in pain, its form flickering between human and monstrous while letting out an ear-piercing screech. The other children, seeing their chance, began to scream and rattle their cages. The children's loud screams seemed to disorient the creature even further, giving Ethan enough time to fumble with the cage locks. His hands trembled, but he managed to free the first child, a girl named Lily, who quickly helped him unlock the other children. After releasing every child, they fled into the night, the monster's loud roars echoing behind them. They ran until they reached the safety of the town. Breathless and terrified, a police officer was patrolling nearby when he saw the group of kids running into town. He stopped them and asked what was wrong. Ethan, being the oldest, told the officer everything. Officer Gonzalez then called for backup and repeated everything Ethan told him, including that the missing children were found. A search party was formed to investigate the warehouse, but when they arrived, the truck and the creature were gone. The only things left behind were the empty cages, the disgusting living situation, and the chilling memory of what had transpired. Ethan was hailed as a hero, but the experience left a mark on him and every child that was found. They knew the monster was still out there, hiding behind a friendly smile and a cheerful jingle, waiting for the chance to strike again. And every summer evening, as the sun set and the ice cream truck's jingle echoed through Willow Creek, they couldn't help but wonder if Mr. Frost would return, bringing with him the darkness that lurked beneath his sweet facade. Parents were more watchful, children more cautious, and the once beloved sound of the ice cream truck now sent shivers down their spines. Ethan grew up with a wariness of the ordinary, always aware that sometimes the greatest dangers come in the most innocent of disguises. And somewhere in the shadows of a new town, the ice cream truck rolled on, the cheerful tune hiding the true terror of the ice cream man.